Only been a few hours, but it felt like days. Only been days, but it felt like months. Been gone for a year, only know like once. Life move fast when you do what you want. At this time, doing what I want. Hope you doing what you want.
Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you decided to join me today in this video. I know it's been a while since I posted, but I've been super busy with family engagements. We had a mini vacay and just work, but I'm proud to say that I am back on my schedule. I'm back at my normal routine that fits my schedule currently, and I'm excited that I've been planning more content to bring to you guys, and I can't wait to bring you more content within these next weeks or months to come. Before we get into this video, go ahead and like and subscribe to see when I post new videos. In most of my previous videos, I did mention taking you guys along a weight loss journey with me, and judging by the title, yes, this is my first official video of my weight loss journey. So today I'm going to give you guys the real and the raw. I'm going to give you a lot of background on my previous weight loss journey where I lost over 100 pounds and the events that led up to where I am currently and my current weight loss journey that I'm in. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So pretty much my entire life, guys, I've always been the chunkier, thicker girl, but I've always been very curvy. And I was confident with my weight, but I was also conscious of my weight as well. I wanted to always just be healthy. Whatever weight I was, I wanted to make sure that I was just healthy. Really, up until I got into college, I thought that you could work out and that meant that you can eat whatever you want to. And it wasn't until my junior or senior year of college, I believe, that I took a nutrition class and I actually learned that it was the complete opposite. So if you really want to see results, you're going to have to change your lifestyle, and it's mainly 80% diet and 20% of activity. Well into my college years, after taking that class, my freshman 15 quickly turned into the freshman 40, okay? But even after taking that class, I still wasn't scared straight, and it didn't knock me into gear. I was just living life and just doing me. I did graduate from Erskine College, and then I moved to Georgia, and I was a CNA at a nursing facility, and I worked long hours. I believe at the time when I was first working, I worked 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And so I would be getting off that late at night, go have a full meal and lay down and go to bed, and then sleep past breakfast and then wake up in just enough time to get to work. So I really wasn't caring about the schedule. I was just working. And even at this time, I was still very comfortable with where I was, but I was also very conscious as well, knowing that I wasn't taking the steps that I needed to take to be the healthiest me. I would just eat emotionally sometimes, or just eat because I was bored. But yes, I was not paying attention to health. I was not paying attention to my health. It took a scare in 2020 for me to actually get on the straight and narrow. So a few months after the pandemic started, this was actually Mother's Day weekend of 2020, I was sick and my stomach was cramping. I was in extreme amount of pain. I could barely keep anything down, and I was very just like shaky. And I had never felt that sick before, so I knew something had to be wrong. So the next day I got up and drove myself to the ER because I knew something had to be going on. So upon my arrival to the ER, they did do several tests and took blood work, and after receiving my results back, they almost immediately admitted me into the hospital. So they explained to me that my vitals were extremely off, and I was actually showing some signs of some kidney problems, but it was because I was severely dehydrated. At the time, I knew that I was having problems while I was at work. I would try to finish my coffee and my breakfast, and I was getting sick, but I just thought that it was because of me being stressed out or me being too tired while I was at work. So I had to stay overnight in the ER, and they did get my vitals back to where they needed to be, but they also suggested that I go see a gastroenterologist just to get checked out to see what was going on. So after calling the gastro, I did schedule my first appointment, and I'm smiling, you guys, because that lady literally changed my life, the doctor that I had there. She did do several tests and procedures to make sure that she diagnosed me properly, and upon my diagnosis, I had to get my weight checked. And after I got my weight checked, when I was at the gastro, I looked at the scale, you guys, and it was like 298.5. 298.5. I was ashamed while I was standing in there. I was like, I'm 300 pounds standing in here. Like, when did I let myself get this far? So after I get the results back from my test, she lets me know that I have GERD and IBS. GERD is a chronic gastrointestinal condition that occurs when your stomach contents move back into the esophagus or food pipe, the most severe of acid indigestion or heartburn. IBS is also known as irritable bowel syndrome. It has several types, and which causes severe stomach pain, cramping, bloating, swelling, and it is very, very uncomfortable, you guys. So after receiving my diagnosis, she did sit me down and told me all of the necessary steps that I needed to complete to be able to feel better and also keep those flare-ups at bay. So step number 1 was reducing my stress. I'm not quite sure if you guys understand how serious it is to keep your stress levels low. Stress will weigh on your body harder than anything ever known to man. You have to keep your stress levels low. It severely affects your digestive system, and sometimes you won't even realize that you're stressed out. But I started doing breathing exercises, and I actually quit my job and went to another job. I was working from home, which was a lot less stressful for me, but I did leave. I had to relieve that stress. The pandemic was tough on a lot of healthcare workers, but me in particular, I couldn't stick it out. And step number 2 was identifying my triggers. So she actually had me keep a food journal. I think that appointment was like a month and a half wait in between, so I did have to keep a food journal between that month and a half, and I had to mark down every single ingredient that I was eating, and also marking down my symptoms for the following day. That way we could track down what was actually causing my flare-ups. So my first trigger that we identified fairly quickly was dairy, and that's of course your milk, cheese, yogurt, things like that. And if anybody really knows me, they know that I have always said that I would drown myself in Mexican queso because I love Mexican food that much. So when we identified dairy as a trigger, you guys, I was so heartbroken because I love cheese, but what had to be done had to be done. So that was my first trigger that we did identify. My second trigger that we identified were different inflammatory foods. So that was deep fried foods, or lunch meat was a big one. Lunch meat is super inflammatory, if you guys did not know, as well as alcohol. Now, if you cannot stop drinking alcohol, reducing the amount of alcohol that you drink would severely help your digestive system. I'm gonna leave that there. My last trigger that we identified was sugars. So cakes, pies, cookies, even like sugary drinks, sodas, anything with carbonation in it, it counts as an inflammatory as well because it causes a lot of bloating. So upon receiving all of my triggers and knowing what they were, I cut them cold turkey, guys. Cold turkey. Now, it was not easy by any means, but my mindset had completely changed once I got to this point. in my mind, I could look at the food and then it would automatically trigger that pain that I had before, and I could not eat it. Like, I completely changed my mindset overnight. I would think of the food and automatically think of pain. So I quit everything. So I was eating mostly dairy-free, plant-based products, a lot of vegan products. One of my favorite meals was oatmeal with brown sugar and banana. Oh my gosh, I would indulge on that. Sometimes I would even eat it for like lunch or dinner. But I did eat a ton of salmon. I made sure to eat a lot of leafy greens, as well as making sure I was reading the labels. I know a lot of people said they go dairy free, but if you read the labels on a lot of the stuff that you eat, you would be surprised that it has milk in it. A lot of different products that I would use, I would be surprised that it had milk in it. So I was creating dairy-free recipes to mimic what I was craving. So if I was craving hamburger helper, I would look up dairy-free hamburger helper and make it. Or I was craving chicken Alfredo. Now that was my main one because I do make homemade chicken Alfredo. But I have made my own dairy-free Alfredo sauce. I would charge it all to Tabitha Brown. She was amazing getting me through that hard time with having creative recipes and just different things for dinner to never keep my diet stable. During this time, I was mostly just clean eating. I didn't work out like that. We do have a dog, so during the time I would like take the dog for a walk, but it wasn't, I wouldn't say it would be equivalent to somebody going to the gym for an hour. But I was really doing any workouts. I was just mainly dieting and clean eating, reading labels, making sure I stuck to my diet and wasn't taking in any inflammatory foods. So I would have check-ins at the doctor's office occasionally, but after a year of seeing the gastro, I had an appointment, and when I stepped on the scale at my appointment, I was 165 pounds. 165. So I had dropped over 100 pounds in a year. I had dropped around 135 pounds in a year, you guys, and I was super, super proud of myself. But at the time, I was actually pretty upset with how my shape was. Like I said, I was a curvier girl my whole life, but once the weight fell off, everything else did too. I could see my collarbone and everything, but I was not too happy with my weight at the time. I was still continuing to eat clean, but I was mainly focusing on maintaining my weight and trying not to lose too much more weight. But in July of 2022, I found out I was pregnant with my son. I did give birth in March of 2023, but during my pregnancy, I figured out that I could start back eating some of those trigger foods that I had cut out of my diet because the baby wanted what the baby wanted. And I realized that there wasn't any consequence to me eating it during that time. So for a few months I did indulge and I just ate whatever I wanted. After giving birth, I did breastfeed for almost 11 months, and now my hormones are returning to normal. So I'm starting to realize that a lot of the things that I ate pre-diagnosis and pre-pregnancy, I'm going to have to start back eating because I've noticed that my triggers are coming back. So for my current weight loss journey, I am going back to my dairy-free, making sure I'm eating a lot of leafy greens, cooking at home, eating a lot of oatmeal. I've also started doing meal replacement shakes. I can drop the protein that I'm using in the notes down below for you guys to check out. It is a plant-based smooth vanilla, something that I didn't do before. Because I want to keep my curves this time, I am actually incorporating working out at least 30 minutes a day. So most of the time I've been going walking in the mornings outside for about 30 to 45 minutes each day. In the afternoons, I've been doing a core exercise to work my stomach muscles back from having a baby. and also doing like dance workouts, anything fun. I'm not a gym girly, so just walking outside and doing the home workouts and the core workouts are working just fine for me. So a couple weeks ago, I did take my weight and I am at 256 pounds. So I'm not where I used to be, but I'm definitely not where I want to be. So I do want to be at about 215. I want to fluctuate between maybe 210 and 215. So I have about 40 or so pounds that I do want to lose. There's no specific time frame, but I am going to be working on it. I'm working on building my consistency and making sure that I stay disciplined, and also making sure that I'm taking care of myself in the process. So during this time, if I need a rest day, I'm going to take a rest day. I'm not going to overexhaust myself. I'm going to make sure that I'm taking the necessary steps to make sure that I feel good inside and out. Along with that, I'm going to make sure that I'm hydrating every single day. It's not a Stanley, but I do have a cup. I'm drinking 2 of these a day just to make sure I stay hydrated, and making sure that I'm intaking the amount of water that I need to. I'm really thankful for you guys joining me on this video. It's really for motivation for someone that wants to get started but not quite sure if they really have what it takes to start. I wasn't doing really much of anything, and it took a scare for me to get started. I don't want anybody to have to go through a scare of anything just to get started, but use this video as motivation to get started. Don't start a week from now. Don't start 2 days from now. Start today. If you didn't do so good in breakfast and lunch, that's okay. Make sure you eat something healthy for dinner. And along your journey, make sure that you're giving yourself some grace. You have a cheat meal on Saturday. Make sure that you're back on it on Sunday. It's not more of just a diet, it's a lifestyle change. Once you make sure you start incorporating those small habits into your daily routine, it will become second nature. I've told you that before. It's all about just getting started and staying consistent. Make sure you guys drop a comment telling me about a previous weight loss journey, current weight loss journey. If you're considering going on a weight loss journey, what are some things that have worked for you guys? What are some things you want to try? What are some things you've heard about? Let's go ahead and start a conversation in that comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you see when I post new content, and it also keeps me in your algorithm. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me on this video, and I hope that I've motivated someone to get started today. Bye.
Every second, every minute, man, I swear that she can get it.